Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Amber Unfiltered. Today I'm going to be doing part 2 of my Hidden Figures series. Today we're going to be talking about the lovely Dorothy B. Porter. But before I do that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you want to cash out me at AmberUnfilteredShow, that'd be greatly appreciated. So I'm just going to preface this video by saying it's probably going to be very long. I have no freaking idea how long it's going to be, probably like 30-40 minutes. Maybe it could go longer. I did find pretty good research on this figure, and I wanted to do her justice and pay the rightful homage to her. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys know ahead of time. But I never had heard of her. I actually was scrolling on Facebook and I saw Michael Threets. He's a famous Black librarian. He's pretty young. I think he's like in his 20s, maybe early 30s, but he became famous like kind of online, but he genuinely loves books. I think he teaches about books, recommends them. I believe he might be working for PBS. I want to say as a correspondent or some type of like TV host or something like that. I'm not too sure, but I remember hearing his name kind of rumbling online a while ago, but I found out about it from him. He had posted about it and I was like, who is this lady? And then I found out that I had quite a few things in common with her. So I was like, oh, I definitely want to make a video about her. I feel like with Black figures, especially ones that have made like amazing and significant contributions, I feel like they're kind of hidden. They're almost hidden like in plain view or plain sight. And I feel like the saying, what's done in the dark will come to the light. And I'm so thankful and appreciative for people who are uncovering our ancestors and are giving them like the shine and the praise that they deserve. So this is kind of what that video is going to be about. So let's get into it. So Dorothy B. Porter was born in Warrenton, Virginia on May 25th, 1905. Her father was a physician and her mother was a professional tennis player turned homemaker. When she got older, Dorothy's family moved to the suburbs in Montclair, New Jersey, where she and her 3 younger siblings were raised in an Irish Catholic neighborhood. In 1923, Dorothy moved to Washington, D.C. to attend Minor Normal School, where she received her diploma 2 years later. I wonder if she graduated early. She seems like she's really smart. Sidebar, I just randomly thought about that. She is described as an avid bibliophile, which is a bookworm, aka myself, and writer. She earned her bachelor's degree from Howard University in 1928. Excuse me. Throughout her education, she coupled her passion for Africana studies with her interest in cataloging and preservation. I just want to say too, I have actually thought about minoring in African American studies, but I think I'm a little bit intimidated by it. And I'm like, I know there's going to be some unsavory parts and unsavory things that I'm going to come across that our ancestors went through. But I know that they're not like the sum of bondage or the sum of enslavement. But I'm like, that part is like really hard for me to get through and stomach. And I was like, if I don't do it with this degree, maybe I'll do it with my master's. But I've always thought about it and I've always wanted to center Blackness like in my work. That's just something I guess I wanted to share with you guys. So after earning her bachelor's, Dorothy joined the library staff as the chief librarian at Howard University. In 1930, she began working as curator of the Moorland Foundation, known today as the Moorland-Spingarn Research Center. While employed there, Dorothy expanded Howard's collection to include materials on Black internationalism. Between World War I and World War II, researchers were demanding more information on Africana history, analyses of the current state of Black people throughout the world, and theories of progress and liberation from the foremost Black thinkers in academia, politics, and industry. In fact, from the 1930s onward, Afrocentric ideologies spread in tandem with Black collections. Institutions like Moorland have housed material concerning Pan-Africanism, Black nationalism, Black feminism, Black liberation theology, womanism, social justice, and fundamental explorations of democracy and human nature. Soon, Dorothy enrolled in Columbia University's library school. Since she was not permitted to live in the dormitory due to racial segregation, Dorothy commuted from Montclair, New Jersey during the summer while working at Howard. In addition to attending classes, she worked in the evening part-time at the 135th Street Branch Library's circulation desk. Dorothy also worked in the Division of Negro Literature, History, and Prints, known today as the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture. I also want to go to this place. I'm not sure where it's at. I'm assuming maybe New York, New Jersey, but I'd love to go there. I mean, me, myself, I love research. It is like it's like my bread and butter. I absolutely adore it. And also to know like that she walked those halls and that she helped curate this facility, I definitely want to go. By 1932, she became the first African American woman to receive a library science degree from Columbia University. After Dorothy earned her master's from Columbia, she continued to work at Howard. Dorothy successfully enhanced the accessibility of thousands of items in the Moorland Foundation by organizing them under the most popular system of library arrangement, the Dewey Decimal Classification System. Since Dewey's system grouped all works on the Negro, including the subject of enslavement itself, into a single category, she created multiple subcategories for Black studies to highlight diverse topics on the Negro and debunk the myth that Africana history was a monolith, because it's not. Researchers finally had infinite combinations of description available to them through decimal classification to find materials on African diasporic subjects. As Dorothy recalled, there were many challenges in expanding Dewey's technology, which rendered African Americans as either a slave or an immigrant. They had one number, 326, that meant enslavement, and they had one other number, 325, as I recall it, that meant colonization. So in all the libraries, many of the white libraries, which I visited later, every book, even a book of poems by James Weldon Johnson, who everybody knew was a Black poet, was under 325, which was the code for colonization. That little blurb I just talked about, that was a quote that she gave or said. By the end of the project, Dorothy overthrew the Dewey system, classifying works by genre and author to highlight the foundational role of Black people in all subject areas, with these areas being art, anthropology, communications, demography, economics, education, geography, history, health, international relations, linguistics, literature, medicine, music, political science, sociology, sports, and religion. That's a lot of territory to cover. Like, my hats go off to her because I know that was not easy. In short, she created a classification system that challenged racism by centering work by and about Black people within scholarly conversations around the world. As the development of research protocols for analyzing race in the bibliography expanded, Dorothy made Black writing visible by not only refusing to essentialize aspects of Black studies, but also publishing her second major bibliography filled with updated literature on the field in 1945. So not only did she do this once, she did this shit twice. And I know that was a lot of work. I wonder if she did this by herself or in, like, you know, did she have support? Did she have assistance? Did she have other researchers? Did she have a team? Like, either way, this is still very impressive to me. The purpose of her project was to compile a global survey of Black verse, including poems published throughout the Caribbean, Latin America, Europe, and Africa. With her departure from Howard in 1973, a new period in Moorland's history began. The Research Center received a sizable grant from the Ford Foundation in 1970, which enabled the institution to completely restructure the center's administration and fund the addition of dozens of staff members to manage the massive collection. Her steadfast commitment fueled the expansion of Black collections and Black studies. Nevertheless, as Laura Helton explained in her 2019 article on decimals, catalogs, and racial imaginaries of reading, Dorothy ultimately made one of the greatest contributions to Black studies and American librarianship through her prowess in edifying Howard's library collection, along with undertaking a revolutionary expansion of the Dewey Decimal System. And she did this at a time where, like, racial tensions were at an all-time high as well. So I know she probably caught some flack and some backlash for this. In a 1995 interview with Linton Weeks of the Washington Post, the Howard University librarian, curator, and archivist reflected on the focus of her 43-year career. The only rewarding thing for me is to bring to light information that no one knows. What's the point of rehashing the same old thing? I completely agree. For Dorothy, this mission involved not only collecting and preserving a wide range of materials related to the global Black experience, but also addressing how these works demanded new and specific qualitative and quantitative approaches in order to collect, assess, and catalog them. It is imperative that we regard Dorothy as the pioneer of decolonizing literature. Starting with very little, she used her tenacious curiosity to build one of the world's leading repositories for Black history and culture, Howard's Moorland-Spingarn Research Center. One day I'm gonna go there. I don't know when, I don't know how. It's, somewhat local to me, but one day I would love to absolutely go there and maybe talk about my experience there, because I'm just so curious, like, what it looks like now. I'd love to see if they have like some type of timeline or like pictures or archives of what it looked like then to now. Like, I'm just so curious. Working without a large budget, Dorothy used unconventional means to build the research center. She developed relationships with other book lovers and remained alert to any opportunity to acquire material. As she told Avril Johnson Madison in an oral history interview, "I think one of the best things I could have done was to become friends with book dealers. I had no money, but I became friendly with them. I got their catalogs and remember many of them giving me books, you see. I appealed to publishers. We have no money, but will you give us this book?" Again, networking is so key, and I'm really learning that now. Like, me, myself, I'm learning this as I'm going back to school for the second time. Like I said in another video, I didn't really do a good job when I was in community college because I was just trying to get it out the mud and just get that piece of paper. That was the only thing on my mind. But now, like, I'm starting to network. I'm starting to get outside of my comfort zone. And like the saying goes, it's not always what you know, it's who you know. And I definitely feel like I'm making some very strong connections, like deans, professors, and I'm trying to get that mentorship. I'm trying to get that, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to like soak up as much as I can. I have a lot of professors like in my corner right now, and I'm going to use that to my advantage, not only just to learn from them, but also to have some type of rapport with them so that, you know, maybe in the future I can be recommended for things, but also maybe work together, maybe really hone in the things that I already have and just make them better and sharpen them. Like, I believe in that saying, like, iron sharpens iron, because it really does. And here you see that she lacked a resource, but she made up for it in the people that she knew and the connections that she had. And I think being a good person and having good intentions is everything. I don't care what anyone says. Don't change yourself. If you are a good person and you move accordingly, the universe will literally reward you. God will literally reward you. Not to get all preachy or whatever, but I genuinely believe this. And not just to get stuff. Do it for like the purity of your heart and your character, because that's really like the only two things we have in this life. I can't stress that shit enough. Her vast network extended to Brazil, England, France, Mexico, anywhere that she or one of her friends, including Alon Locke, Rayford Logan, Dorothy Peterson, Langston Hughes, that's no easy feat, and Amy Spingarn, who I believe that research center could be connected to or named after, would travel. She also introduced Howard to leading figures like the historian Edison Carneiro of Brazil and Pan-Africanist, and Pan-Africanist philosophers and statesmen, I might butcher this name, I'm sorry in advance, Kwame Nkrumah, I'm not sure if I said that right, it's Nkrumah, and Eric Williams. As early as 1930, when she was appointed, Dorothy insisted that bringing Africana scholars and their work to campus was crucial, not only to counter Eurocentric notions about Black people, but also because, as she told Madison, at that time, students weren't interested in their African heritage. They weren't interested in Africa or the Caribbean. They were really more interested in being like their counterparts, which makes me sad, but I understand that line of thinking. Dorothy B. Porter died on December 17th, 1995 in Broward County, Florida. What's important to note is that her daughter Constance, also known as Connie Porter Uzelic, I'm not sure how to say the last name, forgive me, followed in her mother's footsteps. She was a medical librarian and archivist. Also, Connie was the executive director of the Dorothy Porter Research Center and co-wrote several books with her mom before her passing. The sources that I got this information from were the AAIHS, which is the African American Intellectual History Society. Whew, that was a mouthful. And the Smithsonian, goodness, I can't talk. And the Smithsonian Magazine. I don't know why I thought this video was going to be much longer, because I guess there was so much text to go through, but I actually got through it like pretty quickly. I'm actually kind of shocked because y'all know I'm a talker, but I just wanted to share this because I think she's very critical into how we conduct research, how we have learned about Blackness, like from a historical standpoint in various ways. Like I said, like art, literature, philosophy, science, technology. Like, I think our contributions wouldn't, our ancestors' contributions wouldn't be as well known. I think the way that we conduct research in academic settings wouldn't be well known, and just like the artistic contributions that we've, given to this country and just given to different art forms, whether it's writing, painting, music, whatever the case may be. Like, she was very critical in this, and I had no idea. Like, I honestly wish I had learned about her in school, because low-key I've always flirted with the idea of becoming a librarian because I love books so much and I want to share that love with other people. But I think the way that I'll be contributing that is by being an author. But who knows, maybe in the future, maybe that is in the cards. I have no idea. I always thought about like opening like my own like bookshop or bookstore. Even during COVID, I had looked at some spaces and I had put together a business plan. And then I just decided not to because I don't think I was willing to take the risk. And I'm not, to be honest, I'm not super business minded. I'm not like an entrepreneurial, like I don't have that entrepreneurial spirit, and I know myself, and I was like, this will be a lot. And I was like, I don't have any like collateral, I don't have any money. And I was like, I'm not gonna do anything risky, like put up my house or something like that. But I just really respect this woman and the work that she did. I don't think she realized how important it was. She probably did, but I don't think she realized like the future like ramifications or like the benefits of it. And I'm just so appreciative to her. Like, literature is so important, words are so important, knowing our history is important, knowing who we came from was so important. We're so much more than bondage. And it just makes me so privileged that this incredibly intelligent and like intuitive and thoughtful woman decided to commit her life to doing this work. Like, I'm, again, so thankful to her. I wish I had known about her sooner, but I'm glad I found out about her now. But anyways, I hope you guys like this video. I love you guys, and I'll see you later. Bye.